a lot of people in prison right now serving life in prison because they lost their temper. What's up, lifers? Welcome back to 30 to Life. So I hope you guys are doing good. Just wanted to hop on here real quick and have a little conversation with y'all. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about how there's a lot of people in prison right now serving life in prison because they lost their temper. And I think it's an important conversation that, we all should have because, some of y'all deal with temper problems, you got anger problems. And, if you do, you at least recognize that your anger problems does nothing good for you. It destroys your family. It just destroys your relationships. And, probably even got you locked up a few times behind it. It's so easy to get caught up when you're losing your temper. I know some of y'all who have temper problems experience shit like road rage or fighting with your spouse or just getting into it with someone at the shopping store or whatever, you know what I mean? You just always tripping and flashing on people and you don't understand why. You just feel like everybody is just there to make you mad and that, it ain't you, it's them that's making you mad. If you feeling like that, that's how I felt for a very long time in my life. And it did nothing but cause me problems. It got me in a lot of fights, got me in trouble, caused me to abuse alcohol. And it's just one of those things, man, that if you don't get control over it, it's going to destroy your life, and some of y'all know what I'm talking about. So here's the thing. Why are you so angry? Why are you getting so mad at everybody? And it's so easy to push your buttons. And why does your anger make you so violent? So it took me a long time to figure it out. And I still work on it, to this day. But my life is much better now that I understand why I get angry and why certain things set me off. So, it took a long time. And basically what it is, man, is just realizing that there's a lot of shit in your life that you need to face. And that's one of the hardest things for, people like who've gone to prison or anything like that. People who sit there and say that they're men, it's hard for men to really face, certain things and show any type of emotion, especially people who are my age, grew up in my era and people before me and all that, like my parents and shit like that. Growing up, I never seen my dad show emotions like that. He never cried. He never even really said, I love you to us, you know what I'm saying? So he's just one of those guys that just showed his emotions by, just taking care of the family, going to work every day, that type of shit, you know what I'm saying? And it was different back then. So, I kind of grew up under that shit to where if you were to show that you had any type of feelings, you was considered soft. Some people think that way today, you know what I mean, but they still lost. And one thing that we all got to realize, especially men, is that we hold a lot of shit inside that is unhealthy, that causes health problems, and also causes, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, anger issues, violence, and all kinds of other shit that comes with it when you hold shit in. So, it's very healthy for you to really start feeling like a fucking human being and being able to allow those type of feelings come out. Because suppressing them is just causing you to feel alone, causing you to feel like no one understands you, causing you to feel like, that it's just you against the world pretty much. So this is an important conversation for a lot of us, man, because, some of you who aren't getting control of your anger today, you already know, that you've had some close calls and that you could possibly be heading to prison in the future because of your anger. So, that's why I'm doing this. This is why I want to get at you guys about this subject, because I'm going to try to help you stay the fuck out of trouble, okay? So the whole thing with anger is understanding where it comes from, man. Understanding why are you so upset? Why are you so angry? It took me a long time to figure it out. I always felt like being angry was just part of being Samoan. It's just one of those things you grow up thinking that, oh, okay, it's okay. Basically, it's okay. and especially if you see it within your family, you see violence within your family getting fights with other families out there, and it's just always off the hook. So you think that that's how we respond to things, you know what I'm saying, as you're growing up. Another thing that a lot of people go through when they're children is, they used to get their ass whooped or whatever, or they would get yelled at, cussed out or whatever. And this is how we received love, you know what I'm saying? This is how we thought that you express love and things like that. So, for a long time, I just thought that that's how shit was supposed to be. This is how my life is. This is how I'm supposed to react to things, I didn't know no better. So it took me a long time to figure this out. Another thing is that why was I so violent when I would get angry, And I had to figure that out because I just didn't understand. Like every time I got angry, I was ready to fight, And once you realize that anger is a defense mechanism, then you start realizing and thinking about, hey, well, what do I need anger for as a defense mechanism for? So I had to dig deep. I had to figure that out. And a lot of the things in my life, I felt that if I just ignored it, that it wouldn't bother me, So I pushed a lot of shit to the side in my life and just accepted it as part of my life. Didn't want no revenge on nobody. Didn't feel like I was angry towards anybody or anything like that. But, I just felt like I moved on with my life. But in all reality, I was still dealing with it, but just not knowing that I was dealing with it. Because a lot of the times when someone suffers childhood trauma or anything like that, the kid grows up, not knowing how to express themselves if they can't talk to nobody or speak with anybody about any issues in their life. So as a kid, you just grow up and you learn how to pretty much defend yourself in this world. And so anger became one of my defense mechanisms. I realized that if I ever felt where someone made me uncomfortable or disrespected me, or if I just felt challenged in anything, I would just go ahead and fight with you, you know what I mean? Because I just felt like anytime I was in this predicament that I needed to let that person know that I ain't the one to be fucked with, you know what I'm saying? So that became it the whole time. So I got in a lot of fights in school growing up, and it was just one of those things. I just always felt like if you looked at me funny, if you said anything where I felt like you was trying to say something, sideways towards me or anything like that, I automatically responded on wanting to fight, So that's just how it became for me my whole life, and it became something that I was comfortable with. It became something that, I resorted to whenever I could, whenever I didn't feel comfortable or anything like that, or I felt threatened. So, it's just one of those things. And I didn't know that I was doing this until I really started digging into that darkness that's deep inside of all of us, you know what I mean? Where you just don't want to face the type of shit you don't really want to face in life. But I started facing those things, and working on them and starting to let shit go, that I held on to for a long time in my heart and deep down inside, and it started freeing me from, just feeling like I was being attacked. It started freeing me from feeling like I had the need to defend myself, There's just so many things that you start to realize once you start letting shit go. You'll start realizing that we all are suffering from something like that, and we're all dealing with shit in our lives. And then you start really looking at other people and just feeling, just kind of understanding where they're coming from when they're angry or when they're, they're spewing out shit and just talking, mad shit to you or whatever. You kind of just start to understand and feel for them, you know what I mean? Because you know where that comes from because you came from that shit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just one of those things. And if you don't work on it, it's just going to destroy everything about you, everything in your life. The people who love you are not going to want to be around you. You know, and you're gonna mess around and catch yourself a case or something and end up locked up in prison for life just because you don't want to deal with your anger, because you're a broken individual. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for those of you who might want to say, hey, you know, a lot of us are broken, Ron, and you know, we don't go out commit crimes or commit, you know, harm to other people or anything like that. I hear you, man, and I respect that. I respect it, and I just want you to ask yourself, okay, if you're not hurting anybody and you're not going out causing harm to no one else or anything like that, look at yourself and ask yourself if you're harming yourself, you know, because a lot of people will do self-harm, like, you know, turn to drugs or turn to alcohol, or just, you know, have a lot of self-hatred towards themselves. You know, just not feel worthy about shit. You know what I'm saying? Feeling like they don't deserve nothing in life. You know, there's a lot of self-harm you could do from childhood trauma, from any trauma in your life, you know? So, you know, it's just a lot of shit that you gotta really look at yourself in life and really realize, you know, like, hey, is my life cool, or am I living it the way I'm supposed to be living it, you know, or am I miserable in this life that I've been given, this chance right now that I've been given? Am I miserable? Am I hating my life, or am I really happy? You know, deep down inside, I'm happy and I'm enjoying my life and I'm grateful for what I got. So, you know, there's a big difference in it, you know, and some people are okay with living in negativity. You know what I mean? Some people are okay with living their lives in a place of darkness, you know, because for some people it's comfortable, and it's more uncomfortable to face themselves, you know, versus just living their life the way they do, you know what I mean? So it is what it is, but I thought I'd talk about it with you guys, man. And if you guys ever have any questions or anything like that, get at me on Instagram. But, you know, just never feel like you're alone. You know, that was my mistake growing up and just living life, period, was always thinking that I was alone and thinking that no one understands me and no one's gonna understand where I'm coming from, okay? So, you know, I just here to let you know that I went through shit in my life. That's how you end up locked up in prison and shit like that. So yeah, again, if you got any questions about anger or anything like that, or just life, period, you know, if I can help you out, I'll do my best. Just be a little patient on the messages. I do have a lot of people messaging me, and I do try to get back to people as fast as I can. Just know that I do see your messages, and I'm doing my best to work my way down the list to get to you. So, you know, just give me some patience. But yeah, again, just ask me any questions you guys need to ask me, and I'll do what I can to help you. And as always, man, I got nothing but love for y'all, man, and I appreciate y'all. But you know what it is. Stay the fuck out of trouble.